To help our learners nail the heck out of discrimination, we can and should incorporate irrelevant cues. In this episode of the Learning About Dogs podcast, Laurence and Sue McGuire discuss ways to teach what it is and what it is not. So we've talked about singing cues. We've talked about attaching colors to cues. Now, here comes the real fun. I don't want to call them nonsense cues, but in a way,
no, but we've got to be careful that when you teach a dog that. So I've spent and invested quite a bit of time in the dog's learning on doing this behavior, yes, and I've got it in the form I want. So let's have a look at the drop. To me, the drop is this parallel drop to the ground, yes, where the dog's spine stays level and the dog drops backwards into a down position. Nearly always with the collies, the head goes slightly before the rest of the body, but the Gordon setter can do it as well. Now that is different from a bow, yes, where the front end goes down, and that is different from a sit where the back end goes down. So we need to first of all build the form of that behavior in the way the dog carries it out and practices it with all the muscle discipline it takes to do it fluently. Now I want to add a cue to it, and the cue is going to be drop. Well, I also want the dog to learn that the cue is not me scratching my head or picking up a treat or dipping my head downwards as I say it or sucking my teeth just before I do it or stop. Drop is different from stop. And I won't ask him to distinguish those very fine differences. So I might say drop, cool. And then I might take my jacket off, and that is not drop. But if the dog has been practicing drop and getting food to drop, food for 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 drop, teaching them to hold on for the key word is part of our responsibility to teach them what is not drop. And if you don't hear drop, what should you do? Yes. Otherwise, they're just going to go, well, I'll do the drop because you like that. You've been giving me food for doing the drop. No, I want you to stand there and wait for that. So it would be my stand is rise, rise, cool, food, rise, excellent food, wait there, excellent food, good, drop, food, good, rise, good, more food, more food, more food. So that they're learning to distinguish between other things they already know, pick out the word drop and add it to things that I can recognize, and cheese on toast. Well, that's not a word. Excellent, good, you can have a treat for that. Or we might say Mississippi. That's not a cue. Well done. Have a treat for that. So we're teaching them to develop their ear between the word, words I've already learnt before that mean those things, and that means nothing at all. Yep. So much as, cheese on toast is a non-cue, scratching my head is a non-cue, sneezing is a non-cue, and the dog's got to go, no, that doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean, and they can pick up such fine discriminations like, when you're using a computer, if you do a certain thing on your computer when you're about to close it down,
oh, yes,
they'll pick that up. Yeah. I mean, I'm not talking about even just shutting the computer down. I've only got to put my glasses down and they're out. Yes, we know she's finishing now. Yes, or there might be a little sound that a package makes when it closes. They'll learn that because that's significant to them. And a reward follows immediately.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's so exquisite and it's so much fun.
Yeah.
To teach
in
them
that
these.
world. Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also that extra, when you have a dog that you've invested this in, and these simple words, their faces light up when they hear it. Yes, because it's all about getting food and doing stuff. Love it, love it, love it. You've only got just feeding the dogs. And Merrick is a frenetic spinner when she's anticipating good fun. Well, if we go to the gate to go for a walk, she'll spin 2 or 3 times before we're allowed to go out. She has to stand still, and off we go. I think that whole litter tend to throw themselves around in a circle. It's a bit of a thing. But she also does it when dinner's coming. And I watched her do it. I'm coming out with the bowls, and there she is. Brown she goes, turn, turn, turn. And all the gob just went round the kitchen at the same time. But her face was alight. Dinner's coming. And sometimes I'll ask her to do different behaviours just to save the spray going around the room. But that face is alight in the pleasure of what they're about to enjoy. And with blended all that lot together. So every time a cue comes out, they're like, yes, wow, love the cues.
Yeah.
And so should
Mm-hmm.
we. So should we.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. We should. Yeah.
And in a way, something like a freestyle or hear what's music routine is just a series of I cue, you cue. Yep. And
Oh,
we all
we
get this
dance.
reflective pleasure backwards and forwards. And that's what it's about.
Yes.
And listening to the dog's cues as well. Yeah.
Yeah. What are
We
these?
can
Oh,
tend to make it very dominant that we are the only one that gives cues. And we need the dog to be going, I'm ready for a cue. And at the moment, I'm getting a bit tired. Let me just give you the cue for that.
Yes. 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 And that's often we forget that this is a conversation. This is not a one-way conversation. This is a two-way conversation.
Yes.
We must pay attention to that. Yeah. Okay. Well, lovely. Links to the courses and other offerings are contained in the episode notes. Thanks for listening.